Hi everyone. Today we'll be learning about object level security, profile permission sets, and various interview questions which you'll be facing whenever you will be facing the interviewer in a Salesforce admin interview or for a junior developer, etc. These questions from the area of object level security, profile permission sets. We'll be covering all different types of questions and जो भी question बच जाएंगे that I'll be discussing in another video with separate only question answer video which will be uploaded soon. So yes, let's continue. So now, what is object level security? So in this level of security, we prevent users from creating, editing, viewing, or deleting records of an object by setting the permission. So what does this mean? इसका मतलब ये है कि there are four types of permission basically, you know, right? कि आप किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट पे जाते हो तो आपको create, edit, view और delete का permission होगा, तो आप उसके साथ you can do whatever you want. You can create a record, you can edit it, you can uh, delete it according to the requirement. And object level security say we can define which user will be having an access to that object and which user will not be having an access to the object according to their roles in the company, right? So ऑब्जेक्ट लेवल सिक्योरिटी को हम कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं? देयर आर टू वेज ऑफ डूइंग इट. व्हाट फर्स्ट इज प्रोफाइल एंड सेकंड इज परमिशन सेट. सो बाय these two ways we can implement this. So yes, let's continue to profile. So what is profile? Before that, we can discuss a scenario, like it's an example of object level security. So what is it? That like in an org there are two users, right? Jim and John, and we want them to have cred access on the object. What is cred access? Like create, read, edit, and delete. You can see over here, right? So we want Jim to have all the access, but John should have only create and read access. So how we can achieve it? And it should be on an object. So how we can achieve it? With the help of object level security. After defining the access for both the users accordingly, right? We will be giving create and read access. If they are on the same profile, then what we can do, we can give a create and read access, as this is common between the both. And for Jim, as we want to have all the access for that object, so what we can do is that we can uh, assign Jim a permission set for edit and delete access, uh, so that Jim can perform both these activities, but John will not be able to do that. Okay, so we'll be discussing another example also further. So yes, let's proceed. Now, what is a profile? So a profile is a collection of settings and permissions that define what all features and data basically a user has access to in Salesforce, right? So from a profile, we can control object permission, field permission, user permission, tab settings, page layouts, record types, login hours, login IP ranges, etc., etc., etc. So कोई भी प्रोफाइल होती है, तो उसी से हम डिफाइन कर सकते हैं कि क्या कौन सी परमिशन होगी उस प्रोफाइल के अंदर, जो भी यूजर्स होंगे या जो भी रोल्स होंगे, जो भी लोगों को वो असाइन करी जाएगी, तो वो क्या क्या एक्सेस कर सकते हैं और क्या वो एक्सेस नहीं कर सकते हैं. व्हाट दे विल बी एबल टू सी, व्हाट दे विल बी एबल टू एक्सेस, विच ऑल रिकॉर्ड्स, विच ऑल व्हाट आर द थिंग्स which they will be able to see in what kind, like कि किसी के पेज लेआउट पे आपको दो दो टैब्स दिख रहे हैं, किसी के पेज लेआउट पे आपको एक ही दिख रहे हैं, तो बेसिकली प्रोफाइल से हम उसको कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ नेक्स्ट. सो now a user will not be able to see the object in an app until and unless their profile allows them to do so. Yes, it's correct कि कोई भी ऐप अगर है हमारे org में और we are not unable to see it, it means that we are or our profile doesn't allow us to see that. Our profiles में और क्या क्या we can learn कि जो एडमिन इंटरव्यू में काम आएगा. सो देखो, profile are of two types, that's standard and custom. So to access profile, you can go to directly to setup, like I was in home, so you can go to click on setup and you can go to setup. Then what will do, you will type profile. Okay, so यहाँ पे you will get the option of profile. You will click here, and then जल्दी कर जाओ. Yes, so now you can see here different types of profiles, right? And these are all are standard profiles. Now the question arises, how I know that these all are standard profiles? So देखो, जो भी standard profiles होगी, they'll not, it will, the Salesforce org will not give not give us an option to delete that. Custom profiles जो हैं वो हम delete कर सकते हैं, but standard profiles will not be getting an option to delete that. We'll be just getting an option to edit और clone it. Clone मतलब कि आपको अगर सेम क्या कहते हैं, सेम एक्सेस के साथ एक दूसरी प्रोफाइल बनानी है जिसमें आपको कुछ चेंजेस करने हैं, कस्टमाइजेशंस करनी है अपने हिसाब से, तो व्हाट विल डू, यू कैन क्लोन इट, और उसको हम बोलते हैं कस्टम प्रोफाइल. ठीक है, तो देखो जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे बना रखा है. सो दिस इज ACC टेस्ट विच विल बी सीइंग फर्दर. सो I can clone it. I can also delete this profile, but I cannot delete Analytics Cloud integration user. Why? Because it's a standard and it's a custom profile, right? So this is the basic difference between the two. And अगर वो पूछते हैं कि name some of the profiles, standard profiles, तो आप नाम ले सकते हो, ये system admin, then read only profile, then contract manager, then marketing profile, these etc. These are all names you can take while answering the question. And the question there is a very high probability that this question will be asked, that define the what is the difference between standard and custom profile, right? So see, you can edit these profiles. तुम स्टैंडर्ड को भी एडिट कर सकते हो, इसको भी कर सकते हो, लेकिन उसमें बहुत सारे परमिशंस हैं दैट यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू एडिट. तो देखो यहाँ पे जैसे मैंने पहले बताया था, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव परमिशंस, उसके बाद ये हो गया टैब सेटिंग्स, एंड देन दिस इज कस्टम ऐप सेटिंग्स, दैट व्हाट ऑल ऐप you will be able to see and what all you will not be able to see. And now this is general user permission. Now standard object permission, see, जो मैंने बताया यहीं से you can handle कि what all object a user will be able to see, create, edit or delete, view all, modify all. If you give the user an access to an object, then he'll be having an access similar to the admin for that particular ऑब्जेक्ट. लाइक अगर मैंने इसको व्यू ऑल एडिट ऑल दे दिया, तो उसके बाद अगर ये चारों नहीं भी दूं तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. जैसे मैंने व्यू ऑल एडिट ऑल दिया तो मतलब ये सारे हैं इसके पास ऑलरेडी, तो ये सारे चेक हो जाएंगे. लेकिन ये हटा दूंगा तो ये चेक नहीं होंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि क्योंकि नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि हम इसको कंट्रोल करना चाहते हैं, राइट? वी वांट द यूजर, if we want the user only to read or create or edit or delete, so it depends on us, right? और फिर ये रहे पासवर्ड पॉलिसीज, दिस ऑल यू कैन सी दैट 90 days free password remembers this that etc etc, right? So now we'll be moving further. now आपने देखा प्रोफाइल्स के बारे में. नाउ इसमें रोल्स एंड यूजर्स यूजर्स होते हैं ना, whom we assign the profile. So we'll see the user. You can type here user and you'll see, जैसे यहाँ पे बहुत सारे यूजर्स हैं, राइट? सो you can create a user but you cannot delete a user. And again, it's an interview question. You have to keep remember this, or and eventually after practicing you'll be acquainted to this ki yes. So why can't we delete, we cannot delete any user, but what we can do is that we can freeze the user. We can freeze and we can deactivate it. So जैसे यहाँ पे एक्टिव है, मैं इसको डीएक्टिवेट कर सकता हूँ, बट डीएक्टिवेटिंग द यूजर क्या होगा, उसको सारे प्रिविलेजेस से he'll be out, even if he is on any in any role hierarchy or whatever the data is there with him, it all will be suspended. So usually the best practice is to freeze the user first, so that we can customize the role hierarchy, or if any other person is going to take over that charge, so we can do all the complete all the required steps, and then we can deactivate the user. So उससे क्या होता है कि all the data will be safe, where either कि in a haphazard manner if we deactivate तो हो सकता है कि any other automations may be affected. So this is why we first of all we freeze the user, and after that we deactivate the user, right? Then you can see about roles. So roles to abhi nahi jano, now I'll not be discussing, but in another video. So roles is कि जैसे कोई marketing team में है और आप उसको marketing head बना रहे हो, तो that's a role, and you can assign a user to the roles, right? So now we can move ahead. What are permission sets? So now permission set, a collection of settings and permissions that define what all features and settings a user has access to in Salesforce. इसको बोलते हैं permission set. So what is it? Collection of settings and permission that define what all features and settings a user has access to. Now, what do we use it for? To extend the access of the user, which are not provided in the profile without affecting the profile. So, what does this mean? Ki if your profile has only like this, you can say if your, I'll show you, if your profile has only, जैसे this is your profile, ACC test one on an object. If your profile has only read or create access, not edit and delete access. So बट फॉर वन यूजर इफ यू वांट कि आपका एक यूजर होना चाहिए जिसको एडिट डिलीट ऑप्शन भी रहना चाहिए, इफ यू वांट दैट यूजर टू हैव दैट प्रिविलेज फॉर सम टाइम फॉर एनी रीजन, एंड the profile is not allowing you to do so. So what you can do, you can just make a permission set, and that will give you an access to edit and delete records of that particular object which you want the user to do. Now the question comes ki, can we restrict the access? No. Permission set cannot be stricter than the profile, but because profile is the baseline, like profile ka jo bhi access hai that you will be getting. Now you cannot restrict those access or those permissions, but you can only add it with the help of permission sets, and there are other things like sharing rules, etc for sharing records. बट फिलहाल अगर किसी ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए चाहिए, सो फॉर ऑब्जेक्ट पर्टिकुलरली वी कैन यूज परमिशन सेट्स, राइट? या तो प्रोफाइल से कर लो इफ यू वांट कि ऑल द यूजर्स शुड हैव enhanced access, and if you want a particular set of users to have that access, so you can use permission set. That it's a plus point of the permission set कि you can only enhance, you cannot restrict. अब आगे जैसे एक सिनेरियो ले लो, लेट्स कंसिडर वन सिनेरियो कि I have a profile by name provide read access and two users u1 and u2 assigned to it, and I have a object o. So what is the question? I want to have a read write access for user 1 and read only access for user 2 for the object x. Sorry for this mistake, this will be o, right? So how do I do this? So this is a Salesforce admin interview question which I have faced. So I've also faced. So तो इसका आंसर क्या होगा कि रीड एक्सेस फॉर बोथ यूजर्स इज कॉमन, हेंस इन द प्रोफाइल सेटिंग गिव रीड एक्सेस फॉर द ऑब्जेक्ट ओ, राइट? तो जो ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए जो ऑब्जेक्ट ओ है फॉर दैट वी वांट रीड एक्सेस, तो दोनों के लिए होना चाहिए, यूजर 1 एंड 2 के लिए, ठीक है? बट यूजर 2 के लिए रीड राइट होना चाहिए। सो व्हाट, तो ऑब्जेक्ट, तो उस पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए हम रीड एक्सेस देंगे फ्रॉम द प्रोफाइल, राइट? तो इससे क्या होता है, यूजर टू भी रीड will be able to read all the records. A condition satisfied, but user one will also be able to read the record. Second condition is not met because हमको वो edit access भी चाहिए, right? So what we'll do, we can create a permission set uh, by simply setting a name of grant write access, and in the permission set we give the object O the right access and assign it to the user to the permission to this permission set. सेकंड कंडीशन भी सेटिस्फाई हो गई, तो अब क्या होगा कि जैसे ही हमने वो परमिशन सेट वी असाइन इट टू द यूजर, तो अब वो यूजर apart from reading those records, he will also be able to edit those records, like right grant right access जैसे हमने बनाया. So it's a standard practice कि हाँ हम जब सीख रहे हैं, when we are learning things we give the name as per our topics and modules, right? So yes, he'll also be able to edit those records. So ये होता है फायदा परमिशन सेट्स का, ठीक है? So now let's see how it works. तो जैसे हम मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ, जैसे यूजर है एक, ठीक है? यूजर पे गए, अब वो यूजर कौन है? ये यूजर टेस्ट यूजर है, ठीक है? अब आप देखो, नहीं रुको, ये टेस्ट हम प्रोफाइल्स पे जाएंगे. क्या टाइप एरर या हाँ जी, जैसे इसी से टेस्ट वन है, ठीक है? ये प्रोफाइल है और इसको कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट ACC T1 एक कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट है जिसपे इसको क्रिएट एडिट डिलीट एक्सेस नहीं है फिलहाल. सो व्हाट वी कैन डू, हम परमिशन सेट विल we can create a permission set. जैसे मैंने ये बना रखा है, तो अब देख लो ये, या फिर मैं इसको डिलीट करके देखो, जैसे आप डिलीट करना चाहो डिलीट कर सकते हो, हाँ जी कर सकते हो. So we'll create a new one, right? We'll name it as a right access to ACC1, ठीक, right? So ये हो गया. You can also provide a license, choose a license, but yes, you will not be able to change it afterwards. So I'm leaving it as it is. Okay. So now, what do you want to do? You wanted to provide read write access on object. So I'll choose object settings. Now on which object? So ACC T1. So I'll go there. What I have to provide? So I'll click on edit. I'll provide edit and delete action. I'll save it. And if you now I have to assign it to a user. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll click on manage assignment, add assignments, and now I'll choose this user and I'll assign it. See, it's done. This permission is assigned to the test user, and now he'll be able to even edit and delete those records, which he was previously unable to do, right? So now types of profile and it differences. So yes, we have to keep in mind these questions like standard and custom. So what is a standard profile? So a a profile which is already provided by the Salesforce, and what is a custom profile created by the user according to the requirement. Yes, right. So and what if we want to change the permission of a standard profile? So the answer is no, we cannot do that. But yes, we can clone the profile and then we can change the permission according to our business requirement. Now examples of standard profile. So yes, you can take some names as a system admin, standard user, marketing user, contract manager, read only, etc. So now, as I said, object permission cannot be edited. No, sorry, it's again, I think. Okay, yes. Here we cannot edit the permissions already given, and but with the custom we can edit the permissions according to our use, right? Now, this difference between permission profile and permission set. This is also a question which is generally asked in the interviews. So, are what is the difference? So, yes, first of all, the definition, collection of permission and setting which define what all data and features a user have access to, and in permission set, collection of permissions and settings which determine what all data and permission a user has access to. Now, second, we can assign one profile to a user at a time, right? But we can assign multiple permission sets to a user at a time. So yes, we cannot assign two profiles to one user, but we can assign two or three permission sets to one user. Uh, this is a major difference, but yes, it is mandatory. Like if you want a user to work, like you are a manager, suppose, right, sales head manager, but you are not assigned to a profile. A profile is not assigned to you, and you are not assigned to a role, although then also you'll not be able to do anything on the org, right? Like what you'll do, you cannot do anything क्योंकि तुमको कुछ दिखेगा ही नहीं. You'll not be able to see any objects or anything. बस तुम आओगे, उस पे hover around करोगे and you'll go. So it's mandatory, but permission sets are not mandatory. Like it's not mandatory. Why? Because many a times the profile permissions are enough to do all the work. So yes, it's not mandatory. Now these are restrictive. So I have discussed it earlier कि हाँ, profile permission base level permission होगी, and permission sets are additive. Like तुम profile को if you want, you can increase the permissions of profiles, right? But you cannot use the permission set to decrease the permission कि तुम्हारे प्रोफाइल से के जो भी परमिशन है उसको तुम परमिशन सेट से ऐसे रेस्ट्रिक्ट नहीं कर सकते. यू कैन ओनली ऐड इट, लाइक आई हैव डिस्कस्ड अर्लियर विद द एग्जांपल्स की अगर सिर्फ क्रिएट एंड रीड परमिशन है और एंड यू वांट to edit and delete permission, so you can do it with the help of permission sets. Now, coming to all the interview questions. So what is a profile? Difference between standard and custom profile. What is a role? Difference between a role and profile. What is a user? So user is the one who is working, right, which who is given a role or a profile assigned to it and who will be working further in the org. And then what is object level security settings? Two way to implement this. So we have seen the two ways, right? Okay, from profile or from the permission sets. And again, what is grant account login access? How to enable account login access? And then what is a permission set? Difference between profile and permission set. तो grant account login access क्या होता है कि if you want Salesforce to have an access for a particular amount of time, if you have an issue with your org, then what you'll do, you can use this functionality to grant them access. उसके बाद, can we delete a user from our org? No. What we can do, we can freeze the user and we can deactivate the user, right? So what is the difference between freeze and deactivate? I have already discussed. Can we delete a user? The interviewer will be asking all these questions for sure. So the answer is no. And now, how to deactivate a user? तो आपको पता ही है what will do, how to deactivate, and what happens when we deactivate a user. So the license which he was assigned will be freed up, and he'll be not able to log in again to the org, and he'll not be given access to any data which he was having access prior to deactivating, right? And what is a difference between freeze and deactivating the user? Like ये तो पहले वाला क्वेश्चन है, तो ये सारे questions will be asked to you by the interviewer on this part. और सिनेरियो बेस्ड क्वेश्चन भी मैंने जो आपको बताया, सो ये वाला देख लो। हाँ, ये वाला तो दिस इज द टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन यू विल बी फेसिंग। लाइक यही सिमिलर क्वेश्चन है लगभग सारे इंटरव्यू अगर दोगे ना आप एडमिन के, सो यू विल बी फेसिंग ओनली दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन, कि बस वो ऑब्जेक्ट बदल देंगे या तो वो थोड़ा लंबा पूछ लेंगे कि हाँ ये देख रहा है और वो उसको एडिट नहीं कर पा रहा है, तो फिर वो उस तरह से घुमा फिरा के पूछेंगे, बट क्वेश्चन का आंसर ऐसा ही होता है कि हाँ क्यों नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, व्हाट आर द रीजंस। तो ऑब्जेक्ट लेवल से अगर किसी ऑब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड है तो फिर आपके पास ये आंसर है रेडी, यू कैन गिव इट टू द इंटरव्यूअर एंड आई एम श्योर दैट he or she will be impressed, right? So go through these questions, go through the video again and again if you do not understand anything, and another only question related videos will be coming soon. So thank you, have a good day.